Hey everyone, today I'm going to analyze the character of Hamlet through the lens provided by the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Specifically, I'm going to look at whether or not Hamlet demonstrates discipline and detachment in his approach to killing Claudius in revenge for his father's murder. Rather than depicting a man guided by discipline and detachment, Hamlet's character in the play clearly bases all of his decisions on his earthly desires. Instead of maintaining a strict sense of self-discipline, Hamlet demonstrates that he is a slave to the whims of his emotions. Now, to analyze Hamlet's actions through the lens of the Bhagavad Gita, you first have to understand the whole underlying premise of the Bhagavad Gita, which is basically Krishna appearing to Arjuna and urging him to carry out his sacred duty. Even though Arjuna's sacred duty is killing his family, Krishna reassures him that it won't taint him with the stain of evil because he is merely an instrument for carrying out his sacred duty rather than the actual actor and perpetrator who's doing this because of his own personal desires. By acting with detachment, Arjuna is able to carry out his sacred duty and escape any sort of stain on his soul. At first, it seems like Hamlet is fulfilling his sacred duty because he's acting on a command from his father's ghost, which appears to him and tells him to revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. Hamlet isn't setting out to seek revenge on Claudius because of his own personal desires. He's setting out to do it because of explicit instructions from his father's ghost. So he's not acting to kill Claudius out of his own personal desires. It's really more a matter of him being instructed by a kind of sacred being. However, this understanding of Hamlet's actions really starts to fall apart later in the play. For example, in Act 4, he stands up and asks himself, "How stand I then that have a father killed and a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep?" So he's criticizing himself for remaining so passive even in the face of something that really should have his emotions boiling. This whole soliloquy, especially the part towards the end where he resolves to let his thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth, really shows that he's not considering bringing about Claudius's death as his sacred duty. It's really just something that he wants to do out of his own desire for revenge. Hamlet's thoughts here really reveal that he considers himself to be an actor rather than an instrument in bringing about justice for his father's murder and killing Claudius. The Bhagavad Gita states that it is impossible for a person to act with detachment without first grasping that the self is an instrument through which one's sacred duty is performed rather than the actual actor. So, by Hamlet giving in to his desires, he demonstrates that he still thinks of himself as an actor, which means it's impossible for him to kill Claudius with any sense of detachment. When Hamlet finally kills Claudius, he comes at him in a rage, calling him an incestuous, murderous, damned Dane. Hamlet's rage shows that his killing of Claudius is not the act of a disciplined man acting with detachment. Rather, by giving in to his desires and being overcome with passion, Hamlet clearly demonstrates that he was acting for himself. According to the Bhagavad Gita, to escape the stain of evil, one must relinquish attachment and dedicate his or her actions to the infinite spirit. By failing to act with detachment, Hamlet demonstrates a lack of discipline that leaves him open to the stain of evil on his soul for his actions in killing Claudius. Instead of acting out of a sense of sacred duty, Hamlet's murder of Claudius represents the ultimate expression of his earthly desires. So, to sum it all up, Hamlet's actions leave him no way to both commit murder and keep his mind untainted and clean. Hamlet never stops seeing himself as the actor rather than an instrument of his sacred duty. Losing sight of his sacred duty leaves Hamlet open to acting solely based on his earthly desires, a path that prevents him from acting with detachment. This complete lack of discipline makes it impossible for Hamlet to kill Claudius and escape with a clean, untainted mind. Don't drop that thud.